Chapter 41 The Root of the World, the Abnormally Strong World Protection Ability. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Buzz. Buzz. The activation sequence begins, countless magical symbols glow with a mysterious purple light, converging to form a ritual of profound significance. As the ritual takes shape, the four elemental cores at its center start to hum, unleashing their raw energy, earth, fire, wind, and water. Guided by the arcane formation created by the divine Archmage Khalsas, the power of these four elements blends and refines, transforming into a strange gray energy. This stuff is serious. It's the world's primordial energy. Before he can react, this gray energy surges into Rennes' body. The night of Arcane's job change ceremony is officially underway. The moment the energy hits him, Rennes feels like he's about to explode from the inside out, but at that critical instant, the transformation formation kicks in. It protects his body while forcibly merging the primordial energy with him. As the fusion progresses, Rennes feels his spirit ascending. His perspective expands infinitely, encompassing the earth, the sky, and even the crystal universe beyond their world. Driven by an unseen force, Rennes' soul and will cross the vast sea of stars to a realm filled with countless laws, the origin of the world. Standing there, Rennes instinctively knows what it is. He understands the situation. Following the instructions in the Night of Arcane's legacy, he uses his will as a pen and his soul energy as ink to outline his soul beacon in the world's origin. This is the most important part of the job change. If he fails to carve his soul beacon in time, the entire ritual will fail. Realizing the stakes, Rennes races against the clock. Ignoring the agonizing drain on his soul, he throws himself into the task of outlining the beacon. It feels like a second, yet also like an eternity. Finally, before the formation's power runs out, Rennes succeeds. The instant the soul beacon solidifies, his soul's perspective plummets. In the blink of an eye, Rennes' soul returns to his body. The formation, its energy spent, fades into nothingness. The job change is complete. So this is the power of a legendary class. It's on a whole other level compared to ordinary inheritances. He opens his eyes, feeling the seemingly limitless power within him. Rennes' face lights up. His chi capacity has increased tenfold. He now wields magic power rivaling that of a high-level mage. His body and soul have undergone a complete transformation. Although he hasn't advanced to a higher cultivation level, this overall improvement makes him dozens of times stronger. He could now take down his pre-job change self with one move, but that's not even the best part. As an arcane knight, he now possesses the class's unique ability, World Blessing. It's a blessing from the origin of the world. The effects vary from night to night. If you're lucky, it can be incredibly powerful. If not, it might just be a minor enhancement. And Rennes has clearly hit the jackpot. The first effect of his World Blessing is called the 12 Trials effect. Grants incredible immortality, giving the owner 11 extra lives, for a total of 12, triggered by automatic resurrection upon death, temporarily. Doubling all attributes after resurrection, and doubling again with each subsequent resurrection, with one life automatically recovered each year. This world blessing is insane. Unless someone can kill Rennes 12 times in a row, he's practically unkillable, and that's a tall order. Since his attributes double each time he resurrects, by his last life, his overall stats will be more than 10 times what they were before. Unless the enemy completely outclasses him, Rennes might just turn the tables. Talk about hitting the jackpot. Rennes is ecstatic about the broken effect of his world blessing. With this ability, as long as he doesn't actively try to die, he's pretty much invincible. He's got a built-in do not pass go, do not collect $200 card. A few minutes later, he calms down. As he adjusts to his newfound power, Rennes assesses his strength. As a great Earth Knight, I should be able to handle anyone at this stage. I might even be able to fight a Sky Knight, even though they have total air superiority, making it tough to win. But if I want to bail, I can definitely get away. Thinking it through, Rennes has a much better grasp of his capabilities. The initial euphoria subsides. There's always someone better, always a bigger fish. Above great Earth Knights are Sky Knights, and beyond Sky Knights are the legendary powerhouses. He's still a long way from being able to stroll across Rhineland continent, where the strong are plentiful. Guess I still need to focus on popping out kids. Back to his senses, Rennes decides to go back to building his family until he reaches ultimate power. Chapter 42, dual cultivation of magic and martial arts, news of the death of an old friend. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the days that followed, Rennes dedicated his free time to studying magic. After becoming an arcane knight, he gained powerful abilities rivaling those of advanced mages, plus, he possessed two rare mage specialties, advanced material-free casting and instant casting. It would be a shame to let them go to waste. Even though he couldn't currently unlock the arcane knight skill tree, using magic as a substitute was a solid alternative. It would seriously boost his offensive capabilities. Multiplying his combat power thanks to the soul enhancement from the class change ceremony, Rennes' memory and comprehension skills were through the roof. In just half a month, Rennes, who started with 0 experience, successfully cast his first spell, Ignite. It was a basic, 0th circle spell. It gathered fire elemental power to light things up. The power wasn't much to brag about, but it could definitely kill someone. Just rolling around would put it out, though, while this spell wasn't super useful, only mildly convenient for starting a campfire in the wilderness. Its significance was huge. Being able to cast it meant Rennes was officially on the path to becoming a mage. The next day, Rennes shared his excitement with his 7 wives. Jessica's daughters were genuinely happy for him after getting off to a good start. Rennes' progress accelerated rapidly. In just 3 months, he'd mastered a series of fire spells that were the follow-ups to Ignite, like Fireball and Exploding Fireball. He had officially become a senior fire mage. Witnessing her husband's insane progress, Jenny and her other magic-practicing wives were deeply affected, especially Jessica. After meditating for over 20 years, she'd finally become an intermediate magician, but Rennes surpassed her in just a few months. You can imagine how frustrating that was. She was practically having an existential crisis. I just got lucky. I unexpectedly gained a ton of magic power, like an advanced magician. I definitely won't progress this fast in the future. Sensing Jessica's low spirits, Rennes knew what she was thinking and quickly tried to comfort her. Even though she knew he was just being nice, Jessica still felt a bit better. Soon, she realized something. They were all family. The faster her husband advanced, the safer their family would be. That was a good thing. Seeing Jessica return to her normal self, Rennes felt relieved. In the days that followed, Rennes studied magic, handled his responsibilities, and spent quality time with his wives and children. Life was good. As time went on, Layla, Jessica, and Lifa's bellies grew bigger and bigger. The 3 were almost 9 months pregnant and were expected to give birth in a month. Rennes was looking forward to the triplets. Last time, the wave of kids from Jenny, Katie, and Charlene triggered a massive power-up and unlocked the Arcane Knight class. If that happened again, that would be awesome. It would be perfect to get the incomplete inheritance information of the Arcane Knight as a reward. Rennes daydreamed, but he knew the odds were slim. Last time was pure luck. Unless he was blessed by the goddess of fortune, it was almost impossible to unlock more Arcane Knight secrets anytime soon. Half a month later, a letter from the Lilac Adventure team shattered the peace of Rennes and his wives. After reading it, Lifa's face dropped, and her mood crashed. Lifa, what's wrong? What does the letter say? Rennes was worried. Lifa was still in the early stages of pregnancy. If her emotions fluctuated too much, it could cause premature labor. The Lilac Adventure team is gone. Hearing her husband's voice, Lifa seemed to find comfort and threw herself into Rennes' arms, crying. Rennes was confused. Even though Frena and the others hadn't visited as much since Lifa got married, he still had his intelligence network monitoring the Lilac Adventure team. According to the intel, they had been doing great in recent years. They were known for their strength and high mission completion rate. They were a well-known group in the Rhine region. How could they just disappear? Doubting what he heard, Rennes took the letter from Lifa and read it. After reading it, he finally understood. Apparently, the Lilac Adventure team was ambushed by several rival groups while hunting monsters. The Purple Orchid Adventure team suffered heavy losses. To allow the other members to escape, Vice Captain Ada, a female shield warrior, held the line and died in battle. The other members were also killed. In the end, only Captain Freya and the female healer Betty managed to escape back to Cartier. The Purple Orchid Adventure team had grown to 16 members, all intermediate-level adventurers. Now, only 2 remained. The Purple Orchid Adventure team was basically done. Hearing this news, Rennes was upset. He had known Vice Captain Ada for over 10 years. They were good friends. Hearing about her death hit him hard. Rennes, can you help Freya and the others? The Purple Orchid adventure team is gone, they must be devastated. Leafa looked up, her eyes swollen with tears, pleading with Rennes. She was closest to Freya in the Purple Orchid adventure team. They were best friends. If she hadn't married Rennes first, Freya wouldn't have kept her distance because of their friendship. She might have been Rennes' wife. Considering Freya's feelings for Rennes, she believed he could help Freya through this tough time. Okay, Rennes agreed without hesitation. Whether it was for Leafa's sake or his own, he needed to go. Chapter 43 The Half-Elf Girl #039, Plea, Revenge. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Betty, the therapist and one of only 2 survivors from the Wisteria adventure team, sent this letter. According to her account, after she and Florina made it back to Cartier, Florina was utterly crushed by the loss of her teammates. She holed up in her room, lost in her own head, and wouldn't even eat. Betty was worried she might try to kill herself. That's why she wrote to Leafa, hoping she could help Florina pull herself together. Rennes, hearing about Florina's condition, didn't waste a second. He settled his family affairs and set off with a dozen guards. Half a day later, he arrived in Cartier safe and sound. He rode straight for the eastern part of the city. The Wisteria adventure team had outgrown their old villa. They'd moved to a bigger place in eastern Cartier. According to intel from his spies, after navigating a bunch of streets, Rennes arrived at a cluster of somewhat run-down mansions. Confirming it was the right place, he didn't hesitate to knock. The door creaked open about 3 minutes later, revealing Betty, who looked relieved to see him. Rennes, what are you doing here? She asked, a smile breaking through her worried expression. I know about the Wisteria adventure team, Rennes replied. I saw Leafa and had to come check on you. If there's anything I can do, just let me know. Betty's heart swelled with warmth, and tears sprang to her eyes. It had been a nightmare few months. Her sisters, her teammates, gone. The once vibrant Wisteria adventure team was no more, and Florina, their leader, seemed to have lost her will to live. It was all too much to bear. Rennes' arrival and concern were a lifeline, a sense of safety she desperately needed. She couldn't help it. The pressure just burst out of her. She buried her face in his chest and sobbed. Rennes, a little awkward, gently patted her back, understanding what she was going through. He let her cry it out, release all that pent-up pain. A few minutes later, Betty pulled away, her face flushed. She was embarrassed by her outburst. The air felt a little tense. How's Florina doing? Rennes asked, quickly changing the subject. Betty's worried expression returned. She hasn't eaten since yesterday. I've tried, but she won't take anything. Florina's state was deteriorating fast. If it kept up, Rennes' eyes darkened. Take me to her. Betty nodded and led him to the innermost bedroom. Rennes saw Florina. Honestly, he almost didn't recognize her. The change was that drastic. The Florina he knew was confident, elegant, and full of life. This Florina was pale, gaunt, and hollow-eyed. She seemed completely detached, like someone at the end of their rope. Seeing her like this, Rennes felt a sharp pang of pain. Florina, he called, approaching her, but Florina barely flickered an eye. Nothing mattered to her anymore. She just wanted it all to end, to join her sisters in the afterlife. Rennes didn't know exactly what she was thinking, but he knew this was worse than he thought. Florina was giving up. If he couldn't reignite her spirit, she was going to fade away. Her condition must be tied to the ambush. He thought. The deaths of her teammates broke her. Then an idea struck him. A sick heart needs a cure for the heart star. To spark her will to live, he'd have to hit her where it hurt. He decided to give her a dose of tough love. Florina, do you think this is what Ada, who sacrificed herself for you, would want? Is this worthy of the sisters who protected you during that breakout? He asked. If you die like this, the Wisteria adventure team is gone forever. No one will avenge your sisters. Do you want them to have died for nothing? Florina, who had been listless, suddenly snapped to attention. It was like waking from a nightmare. Her unfocused eyes sharpened, filled with a deep, burning hatred, not for Rennes. For those who had ambushed the Wisteria adventure team. I don't want them to have died for nothing, she said, her voice hoarse. I want revenge. I want those bastards who attacked us to pay in blood. Rennes, you'll help me, right? She looked at him, pleading. Despite the rage in her heart, she knew she couldn't do it alone. Those adventure teams were powerful, with lots of members and leaders who were high-level like her. Without Rennes' help, her chances of success were slim. She'd just be throwing her life away. Of course, Rennes said without hesitation, seeing the fire return to her eyes. As her friend, he couldn't just stand by and watch. Chapter 44 Rennes, Frena, you don #039, want to be unable to complete your revenge, do you? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing Rennes answer without hesitation, Florina's eyes softened. She threw her arms around him and kissed him passionately. Betty's jaw dropped at the sight. She was stunned. A strange, bitter feeling twisted in her gut. Several minutes later, the kiss broke. Florina, flushed, promptly kicked Rennes and Betty out of her room. 10 minutes ticked by. Finally, Florina reappeared, stepping out of the bedroom. She looked like a different person. Refreshed, she'd changed back into her leather armor, the impressive, almost fearless Florina that Rennes remembered. Relief washed over him. His medicine had clearly worked. Her suicidal despair had vanished. Still, the fasting and emotional breakdown had taken a toll. Florina was weak. Even with a mild dose of a high-grade healing potion, she'd need at least a week to fully recover, and during that time, she shouldn't use her dough cheese power. It could cause lasting damage. Fleur, you're not in good shape, Rennes said. Maybe you should focus on getting better before you go after revenge. He knew that Fleur was driven by a desire to kill her enemies herself. If she did that in her current condition, her body would probably give out completely. Betty nodded in agreement. As a therapist, she knew just how fragile Florina was. No, Florina, eating to regain her strength, shook her head. She couldn't wait any longer. She was willing to die the second after she killed those bastards. Rennes wasn't about to let her throw herself away. He announced that he was taking her back to Habs Manor to recover. Fleur's protests were cut short with one sentence. Fleur, you don't want to screw up your revenge, do you? After lunch, Betty packed their bags. They left the Violet Lilac Adventure Team's mansion. Rennes was about to find a carriage when a group of adventurers approached. The leader, dressed in a purple mage robe, radiated a sinister aura. He had a hawk nose and thin eyebrows. Captain Florina, where are you off to? The man asked, a mocking smile twisting his lips. His tone was like a cat toying with a mouse. Ennis Byrne, you dare show your face. Florina spat, her hatred clear. He was the younger brother of the Thunderhawk Adventure Team's leader. He'd been part of the ambush on the Violet Lilac Adventure Team. Captain Florina, have you considered my brother's offer? Ennis asked, unfazed by her animosity. His brother had wanted her for a long time. That's why he'd agreed to the ambush. He was fully prepared to force Florina into submission. Florina's face turned to ice. Get lost. She hissed. She would die before marrying a guy with her teammates' blood on his hands. You don't get a say in this. Ennis glanced at Rennes and Betty. In his mind, they were all that was left of the Violet Lilac Adventure Team. If he captured them, he could force Florina to be obedient. Ennis gave the order, and the Thunderhawk Adventure Team surrounded Rennes and the others. You fools have a death wish. Rennes remained calm, a cold glint in his eyes. He drew the storm great sword and swung it. He wasn't using any fancy techniques. This was just a basic chi strike, but with Rennes' strength, the power of the chi strike exceeded all limits. A terrifying wave of sword energy erupted. Chapter 45 Revenge Action, Slaughter Thunderhawk Adventure Group. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing that gruesome scene, Ennis Tun, who'd seemed so cool, just stood there, eyes bugging out. He was speechless. This guy could casually unleash a 100-meter sword blast. Since when did the Purple Wisteria Adventure Group have a monster like that? If he'd known, he never would have come knocking, but Rennes didn't give a damn about what they thought. As far as he was concerned, they were dead the moment they made a move. He raised his sword and swung, swoosh. Swoosh. Swoosh, star, like a hot knife through butter. The 100-meter sword blast silently decapitated every member of the Thunder Shadow Adventure Group in the area. Blood splattered everywhere, turning the street red. Screams, cries for help, wails, filled the air. The onlookers on both sides of the street were stunned by the hellish scene. They didn't even dare breathe. Your turn now, Rennes said, sheathing his sword and turning to Frena. Judging by her reaction, these guys were probably the ones who'd ambushed the Purple Wisteria adventure group. Frena clearly wanted to take them out herself, so he'd held back, just disabling them, not killing them. Okay, not understanding what Rennes had done, Frena was touched. Under his protection, she finished off the moaning members of the Thunderhawk adventure group lying on the ground, one by one. Ennis Tun, their leader, got the worst of it, chopped to pieces by Frena. After killing all of them, Frena seemed a lot calmer, her spirits lifted. They didn't stick around, Rennes and the others just left. As for the murders in the city, no big deal to him. He was a count, a nobleman. The nobles in Cardia would have to be crazy to cause trouble over something like this, and they were. When rumors spread about Count Rennes, the legendary knight of the beheading god, committing murders in the east of the city, the Cadi family, who controlled Cardia, pretended nothing happened. They even helped clean up the bodies, hush up the news, and block any information from getting out. 3 days later, at Habs Manor, Frena was recovering, thanks to Rennes' careful attention. She wasn't up for heavy fighting, but she was getting there. Once she felt better, Frena wanted to get revenge. Rennes couldn't say no. According to Frena, 3 groups had ambushed the Lilac Adventure Group, the Barbarian Bull Adventure Group, the Blood Tiger Adventure Group, and the Thunderhawk Adventure Group. To help Frena with her revenge, Rennes had already told Shadow, the family intelligence network, to track those 3 groups. Now he knew exactly where they were. With Rennes leading the way, they started hunting down the people who'd hurt the Lilac Adventure Group. First up was the Thunderhawk Adventure Group. Even though the nobles in Cardia had cleaned up Ennis and the others and tried to bury the story to get on Rennes' good side, the sudden disappearance of Ennis and his crew made the Thunderhawk Adventure Group nervous. Even a fool would realize something was up when that many people vanished. For days, the leader of the Thunder Eagle Adventure Team, Inila Byrne, had been holed up in their base with his men, afraid to step outside, worried about meeting the same fate as his brother. But hiding didn't work. Rennes considered anyone below Earth Knight level to be nothing. It didn't matter how many of them there were, he could take them all out with one swing. If Flora didn't want to get revenge herself, he could level the Thunderhawk Adventure Team's base with a single storm slash. Who are you? 2 members of the Thunderhawk Adventure Team guarding the gate stepped up to stop Rennes and Flora. No answer. Without Rennes having to lift a finger, Flora took out the 2 gatekeepers with a single sword. As a 7th level advanced magic archer, she was way stronger than these low-level guys. After killing the guards, Rennes and Flora strolled right in. The commotion didn't go unnoticed. Killing someone at the Thunderhawk Adventure Group's base? You've got a death wish. Brothers, get them! The others roared and charged at Rennes and Fleur with knives and swords, ready to tear them apart. You beasts who killed my sisters, go to hell. Rapid-fire explosive arrows. Fleur's face was full of hate as she grabbed the big bow off her back. Activating her chi, she pulled the bowstring. 6 fire arrows flew from the bowstring. Boom. They hit the Thunderhawk Adventure Group members in front. Boom. 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 *6 explosions went off at once. Flames and energy filled the air. More than 10 people were killed. The attack was a success, but the commotion brought everyone else in the Thunderhawk Adventure Team's base running. Hundreds of high, medium, and low-level fighters rushed over. Frena couldn't handle that many on her own, but Rennes was different. He was an impenetrable wall, keeping them away from Frena. Anyone who got close, no matter how strong, was cut down with one swing. They couldn't get close. All they could do was let Frena shoot them. The morale of the hundreds of fighters plummeted. They started to crack. They turned and tried to run. No such luck. Rennes and Frena weren't letting anyone live. Anyone who tried to escape was killed. They couldn't run. They couldn't win. They were trapped. In less than a minute, the entire Thunderhawk Adventure Team's base was a slaughterhouse. The stench of blood was overpowering. They took anything valuable from the base. Then Rennes used explosive magic to turn the Thunderhawk Adventure Team's base to ashes. 1/3 of the revenge was done. After dealing with the Thunderhawk Adventure Team, Frena and Rennes moved on to the next target. Chapter 46. The destruction of the 3 major adventure groups shakes the Rhine region. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The second group was the Wild Bull Adventure Team, an old outfit established for over 70 years. They were way tougher than the Thunderhawk team. they boasted 3 high-level transcendent members. Their captain was a powerhouse, an 8th-rank berserker. Legend had it he'd once used his berserk ability to hammer a 9th-rank earth dragon to death. They called him the Mad Dragon. He was a big name in the Rhine region, but for Rennes, both the Wild Bull and Thunderhawk teams were nothing, just ants. As an 11th-rank legendary professional, he was practically invincible in the Rhine. With Rennes' help, Fleur took down the Wild Bull adventure team in about 10 minutes, wiping out nearly 200 members. The Mad Dragon captain died hard, riddled with dozens of energy arrows. They cleaned up the spoils, then, they provided a dragon cremation service for the corpses. With that done, Rennes and Fleur headed for their final target, the Blood Tiger adventure team. They weren't even half as strong as the Wild Bull team. Rennes and Fleur finished them off in minutes. All 3 ambush teams were gone. Fleur, her sisters avenged, burst into tears, collapsing to the ground and sobbing. Rennes stood back. He didn't want to interrupt her. He knew letting out those bottled-up emotions through tears was good for her. She cried for over 10 minutes. Finally, Fleur calmed down a little. Rennes, why do you think those 3 teams ambushed our Purple Magnolia team? Fleur asked, looking up, her eyes red and swollen. The question had been nagging at her, but she'd been too consumed by hate to think straight. Probably because your Violet Flower team was growing too fast, Rennes said after thinking for a moment. It seemed the most likely reason. Even though the Violet Flower team was small, their elite strategy meant every official member was at least an intermediate transcendent. The leaders were both advanced. Overall, they were a force to be reckoned with. If they kept growing at that rate, in a few years, the Violet Flower team could rival the most famous and powerful Minotaur team in the Rhine, maybe even surpass them. The high-paying advanced missions in the Rhine are limited. There's only so much pie to go around. The guys already eating didn't want newcomers taking a slice. According to intel from the Shadow Organization, the Minotaur team was behind the ambush. Rennes explained his theory. Fleur was stunned. She hadn't realized their success had made them a target. Now that the Minotaur, Blood Tiger, and Thunder Eagle teams are gone, if you want to rebuild the Violet Flower team, I can help you. The Violet Flower team, reborn from the ashes, will be even stronger. As Fleur came back to herself, Rennes spoke again. No, thanks, Fleur said quickly, without hesitation. She was just plain tired. After what she'd been through, she didn't want to adventure anymore. She definitely didn't want to see any more teammates die like that. Better to let the Violet Flower team end here. As for what she'd do next, she'd figure it out later. Then you should stay in my territory for a while, Rennes offered. Whatever you decide, you need to take care of yourself first. Understanding her feelings, Rennes spoke frankly. Okay. Having gone through this revenge, Fleur trusted and relied on Rennes more than ever. Leaving the Blood Tiger team's headquarters, they mounted their warhorses and rode toward Eagle's Roost. While Rennes and Fleur were on their way, the news of the 3 adventure teams' destruction spread like wildfire through the Rhine region. The Wild Bull, Blood Tiger, and Thunder Eagle teams were all well known, especially the Wild Bull team. Considered the top group in the Rhine, they were seriously strong. Now, they were suddenly gone. It shocked everyone. Those 3 teams must have pissed off the wrong person and got wiped out by some big shot. Who knows? Maybe a necromancer did it. Those creeps love using the bodies of supernaturals to build their skeleton armies. Nah, according to the rumors, the bodies of the 3 teams' members didn't disappear. Definitely not a necromancer's work. The unusual event stirred up a lot of curiosity. People had all kinds of theories, but with so little information, nobody could guess the truth. Griffin City, the main city in Count Bedel's territory. Inside the Lord's mansion, a handsome middle-aged man was reading a sheepskin scroll. It detailed how Rennes and Fleur annihilated the 3 teams. No surprise there, Rennes and Fleur hadn't exactly been trying to hide their tracks. Bound to get picked up by some noble spy network. The Minotaur team's gone. It'll take the family decades to build up another team that strong. That's a major loss. Kivlok put down the scroll and sighed. He hadn't realized the Violet Flower team had connections with Count Rennes, the Godslayer Knight, and they were tight. A few months back, when the Violet Flower team was on a mission in the Warcraft Mountains, they accidentally got too close to the family's biggest smuggling route. He didn't know if they'd noticed anything, but to be safe, He'd ordered the Minotaur team to work with the other teams and ambush them in the wilderness, wipe them out with minimal fuss. Everything had gone smoothly until then. The Violet Flower team was hammered, but who knew the follow-up would be such a screw-up? It cost the Bader family a private force they'd spent decades building up. The price was too steep, and what really bothered him was that he couldn't even get revenge on the guy behind it all. Count Rennes was not someone to mess with, a real powerhouse. He could rank in the top 3 in the Rhine region. Even though the Bader family had a great Earth Knight, they wouldn't dare to provoke such a dangerous enemy. So, Kid Luck made the smart call and swallowed his pride. He'd just have to eat the loss. Chapter 47. Marrying a half-elf beauty, 3 daughters give birth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I wasn't sure what the fallout would be from taking down those top-tier adventure teams. Rennes and Fleur had already made it back to Eagle's Nest. Betty rushed over, eager to hear how it went. When she learned that every last enemy who ambushed the Wisteria team was dead, she was overjoyed, tears streaming down her face. As one of the original 5 members of Wisteria, she loved her teammates like sisters. If she weren't primarily a healer, lacking serious combat skills, she would have been right there alongside Rennes and Fleur, seeking revenge. Betty was sad to hear Fleur wanted to disband Wisteria, but she understood and supported the decision. She couldn't bear to lose another friend, so, at Rennes' invitation, Betty and Fleur made Eagle's Nest their new home. Naturally, they moved into Habs Manor. Since Rennes became a count, Habs Manor had been expanded, now sprawling over 2,000 acres. There was room to spare. It could easily house 200 people, let alone just 2. Living under the same roof, spending every waking moment together, Fleur, already drawn to Rennes, naturally fell for him. Even the sweet and gentle Betty secretly developed feelings for him. 5 days later, a lavish wedding was held at Habs Manor. Rennes, Florina, and Betty were the stars of the show. Count Rennes really knows how to live, marrying 2 gorgeous women at once. Word is, both women were in the Lilac Adventure Group, and that stunning half-elf was even the leader, a 7th-tier powerhouse. Man, Rennes is living the dream, having such beautiful and powerful women in his household. The wedding was similar to Rennes' previous ones. He had invited a lot of nobles to witness the ceremony. The town square of Eagle Town was overflowing with food and drinks, sharing the joy with the townspeople. Even Rennes' sons, all grown up with families of their own, returned for the celebration. "Dad, you haven't lost a step," Red chuckled, looking at his father decked out in wedding attire. When Red was a kid, his father was always bringing home new wives, and now, even with grown children, his father was still at it. It was a bit much. "Doesn't look old to me." "Your father looks like he's in his 30s, tops." Red's wife, Celia, disagreed. "She's right. Father's a great Earth Knight now, his life force has been enhanced, he'll live longer than we will. This is his prime. Wish I'd inherited Father's talent for cultivation." Red sighed, a little bummed. His chi talent was just too weak. Even with his father's help laying a solid foundation when he was young, he'd probably only ever become an intermediate warrior. Compared to his father, a great Earth Knight, he was way behind. Little did Red know, his father's aptitude was pretty average too. Rennes just had advantages that helped him reach this stage. Red just figured he hadn't inherited his father's great bloodline. "You're the best in my eyes." Sensing her husband's mood, Celia gave him a loving squeeze. While the young couple shared a tender moment, the wedding went on. In front of everyone, Rennes, Florina, and Betty exchanged vows, officially becoming a family. That night, Rennes visited 2 separate rooms, consummating the marriages. Even though it was the first time for both women, they were very different. Florina, once she got going, loved to take the lead. Betty, sweet and demure, was shy and preferred to let Rennes take charge. Each had her own unique appeal. Rennes spent an unforgettable and pleasurable night. A few days later, Florina and Betty had settled into their new lives. They agreed, it was a serious upgrade, compared to their old lives of sleeping rough and risking their lives. This was paradise. No more worrying about money, no more struggling for resources. Rennes had taken care of everything. Everything was free for them to use. They even had access to 5-star martial arts manuals and meditation techniques. Florina and Betty never dreamed they could live so lavishly. With abundant resources, their already impressive talents blossomed, and they started advancing quickly. Flora, with her elven blood, was especially close to a breakthrough. 2 weeks later, Flora, who had been at the 7th rank for years, finally broke through. She reached the 8th rank as a magic archer, and that wasn't the only good news. Both Flora and Betty were pregnant. Janice and the other wives rushed over to congratulate them and share their own experiences with childbirth, and of course, Rennes was thrilled. He rushed over to check on them right away. This was their first time, so they were bound to be nervous. As their husband, he needed to be supportive, to prevent them from getting too stressed out, and so, the days went by. Layla, Jessica, and Lifa, already far along in their pregnancies, grew bigger by the day. 2 weeks later, all 3 women went into labor. Layla gave birth first. A few days later, Jessica and Lifa followed, adding to Rennes' growing brood, detected the birth of the host's 46th child. Magical aptitude, low. Fighting spirit aptitude, medium. Evaluation, bronze. Reward, 10 years of fighting spirit cultivation. Detected the birth of the host's 47th child. Magical aptitude, high. Fighting spirit aptitude, medium. Evaluation, silver. Reward, 30 years of fighting spirit cultivation. Magic weapon blueprint, wind chaser crossbow. Detected the birth of the host's 48th child. Magical aptitude, low. Fighting spirit aptitude, high. Evaluation, silver. Reward, 30 years of fighting spirit cultivation. Comprehensive collection of low to mid-level magic. Chapter 48 Elf Bloodline, Gold-ranked Heirs Birth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Detected host's 46th child. Magic aptitude, low. Fighting spirit, average. Bronze rating. Reward, 10 years of fighting spirit cultivation. Detected host's 47th child. Magic aptitude, high. Fighting spirit, average. Silver rating. Reward, 30 years of fighting spirit cultivation. Blueprint for the wind chaser crossbow magic weapon. Detected host's 48th child. Magic aptitude, low. Fighting spirit, high. Silver rating. Reward, 30 years of fighting spirit cultivation. Comprehensive collection of low to mid-level magic spells. Not bad at all. This baby boom is looking good. 1 bronze, 2 silver. Forget the bronze, those silver level rewards are pretty sweet. According to the system, the wind chaser crossbow is a standard magic weapon that shoots wind element energy arrows. It's fast, hits hard, and penetrates deep. Whether he uses it himself, beefs up his territory's defenses, or sells it to other nobles or adventurers, it'll bring in some serious cash. As far as Rennes is concerned, that magic weapon blueprint is worth its weight in gold, maybe more, and that collection of low to mid-level magic. Even better, it's got around 15,000 spells. Sure, they're all under 3rd rank, but they're still invaluable. After all, in this world of magic, knowledge is the rarest and most expensive commodity. This magic collection, perfect for the Habu's family's magic curriculum. We can also handpick some spells and start training up some in-house mages. Rennes did the math. With this much magic to draw on, building Eagle's Crest Magic Academy just jumped to the top of the to-do list. After figuring out what to do with his prizes, Rennes bolted to the delivery room to be with his wife. Layla, Jessica, and Lifa need their rest after giving birth. He's been through this a bunch, so he knows the drill. Life went on, nice and easy. Fleur and Betty, first-time moms-to-be, started showing. 10 months later, Rennes was strolling through the garden with Fleur and Betty, talking babies. Ouch! Betty suddenly clutched her stomach. That's it, labor pains. Rennes scooped Betty up and raced her to the delivery room. The midwife was ready and waiting outside the room. Rennes, will Betty be okay? Fleur asked, worried, hearing Betty's cries. She'll be fine. I couldn't stand anything happening to you. We've got the best midwives in the Rhine region, plus a priest from the Church of Life. Rennes wrapped his arms around Fleur. That seemed to calm her down. They waited maybe 10 minutes, then, a baby's cry pierced the air. Detected host's 49th child. Magic aptitude, high. Fighting spirit, average. Silver rating. Reward, 30 years of fighting spirit cultivation, 10 years of experience with mad dragon fighting spirit. Betty hit a home run on her first try, a silver-rated heir, no less, 30 years of fighting spirit, plus 10 years of practice with that mad dragon style. Sweet deal, these rewards had already pushed Rennes to his limit, stage 11 with 30 more years that he shattered that barrier and reached stage 12. He also gained some serious insight into the mad dragon style, like that technique that spins the mad dragon energy faster, or that armor that mimics dragon scales. This boosted Rennes' fighting power big time. Still, it's only going to get tougher from here. Rennes tested his new power breaking through to Sky Knight at stage 13. No joke, that's a real bottleneck. Most Earth Knights never make it, and with his SOSO fighting spirit aptitude, he'll need thousands of years of cultivation just to force his way through. This garbage aptitude is really dragging me down. Gotta find a way to fix it. Easier said than done. In Rhineland, those treasures that boost aptitude are rare as hen's teeth. Rennes probably wouldn't find one in a million years, and the system rewards all luck. Based on what he's seen so far, aptitude upgrades are pretty rare, plus, he'd need a gold-level kid to get the high-level martial spirit he's after. Here's hoping Fleur has a surprise in store. Rennes thought, Fleur's got elf blood, and her martial spirit is top-notch. If luck's on his side, maybe she'll pop out a gold-rated heir. With that hope in mind, Fleur's due date crept closer. Half a month later, Fleur was about to give birth. Rennes dropped everything and rushed to the delivery room door. He was holding his breath for this one, no way he was missing the moment. 15 minutes later, a baby's cry rang out. At the same time, the plants around the delivery room seemed to bloom. On cue, Rennes' jaw dropped. This kid was something special, he knew it in his gut. Then the system chimed in, detected host's 50th child. Magic aptitude, superlative. Martial spirit, superlative. Hidden bloodline, elf, awakened atavism, naturally possesses nature's language, plant revival, high-level elemental affinity, and other extraordinary talents, rated as golden. Rewards, 100 years of martial spirit cultivation, high-level martial spirit qualification, a drop of golden dragon's essence blood, dragon boat festival book sale. Top up 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab the top up now. Promotion period, June 22nd to June 24th. Chapter 49 Rennes, my son has the gift of a legend. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The system chimed, detected the birth of the host's 50th child. This kid's magical talent is off the charts, his fighting spirit aptitude is extraordinary, and he's got a hidden elf bloodline, awakened atavism, naturally fluent in the language of nature, can revive plants, has advanced elemental affinity, and other amazing abilities. We're talking gold-level potential. Reward, 100 years of fighting spirit cultivation, advanced fighting spirit aptitude, and a drop of golden dragon blood. Sweet, Rennes shouted, pumped. His first gold-level kid was finally here, and the system's reward. It didn't disappoint. This was a whole new ballgame compared to those silver-level offspring. Just the cultivation bonus alone was a century's worth, plus, he snagged 2 more goodies, advanced fighting spirit aptitude and a drop of golden dragon blood, both absolute treasures. The aptitude boost meant his fighting spirit cultivation would level up even faster, pushing him closer to his own breakthroughs. And that golden dragon blood? Forget about it, coming from a top-tier dragon, practically a demigod already. This was pure gold, pun intended, seriously rare stuff in the Rhineland continent. But wait, there's more. The system had worked its magic on this blood. Downing it wouldn't just make him physically stronger, it would also give him a sliver of the golden dragon bloodline, complete with some of their innate abilities. Snapping back to reality, Rennes couldn't hit the receive rewards button fast enough. Whoosh, star. Instantly, he felt a special energy coursing through him, practically overflowing with life force, reshaping his entire being. Under this power, the pathways in his body blew wide open. They went from tiny backroads to full-blown highways, 10 times the flow, 10 times the power. The moment the advanced fighting spirit aptitude was fully integrated, the 100 years of fighting spirit cultivation flooded in. After refining it, his cultivation deepened even further. He was one step closer to becoming a Sky Knight. Cultivation, aptitude, check and check. Next up, golden dragon essence. A drop of golden blood the size of a soybean popped into existence right in front of him. He could practically feel the raw divine power radiating from it, along with dragon might that dwarfed everything else. Just looking at it made him freeze up. That was life-level dominance for you, no doubt about it. A golden dragon was on a whole other level. Just one drop of blood is this intense, he thought. Imagine the power of a real golden dragon. Taking a deep breath, he sighed inwardly. Meanwhile, the baby was still crying its lungs out. Shaking it off, Rennes strode into the delivery room. He saw Frena cradling the baby, breastfeeding him, glowing with that new mom magic. "Rennes, look. It's our little boy," she said, beaming. "He's a cutie," Rennes replied softly. "You were amazing, Frena." They chatted for a bit, and when Frena was done feeding the baby, Rennes took him in his arms. Immediately, he felt this calming natural aura coming from the kid. A quick once-over revealed that the newborn's pathways were as wide and strong as his own. It was mind-blowing. Just imagine how massive and powerful those pathways would become when he grew up. Easily 20 times what Rennes had now. In other words, 1 year of cultivation with super-grade aptitude would be like 10 years with just high grade. And forget even thinking about comparing to anything lower. Seriously, talk about unfair. Some people just have it all. A true genius could run circles around 99% of the population in just 1 year of training. And his son? No doubt about it, he was one of those guys. With the right guidance, hitting the 10th stage was a done deal. Breaking through to the 15th stage and becoming a legend? Totally on the table. Asterisk, my son has legendary potential. Asterisk, he thought. A month later, after helping Fleur and Betty recover from childbirth, Rennes decided it was time to go into seclusion and refine that golden dragon blood. Officially, he was just prepping for his Sky Knight cultivation. But let's be real, golden dragon blood was a serious treasure. Even legendary powerhouses would kill for it. Best to keep it on the DL. Otherwise, trouble would be knocking real soon. After taking care of the territory and family business, Rennes booked it to his specially built underground chamber. He shut the stone door, activated the warlock's lock and mist to hide his location, and laid down every possible precaution. Then, finally, he pulled out the dragon blood and swallowed it. Absorbing the essence of a demigod-level dragon was no walk in the park. Even with the system's help, it was still gnarly. As soon as it hit his stomach, the pure golden blood unleashed a wave of holy light. The light coalesced into purifying white holy fire that rampaged through his insides. If he didn't have a solid base of cultivation and the enhancements from the Mage Knight ritual, he'd be toast in seconds. Gotta get rid of this fire ASAP, he thought. Otherwise, it'll wreck my pathways. He summoned the dragon chi and tried to contain the holy fire, but it wasn't cutting it. The fire was too high quality, like a super strong alloy. His chi was just pig iron. Even with the sheer volume, he could only chip away at it. At this rate, it'd take 10 days to extinguish the flames, and his pathways wouldn't survive that long. Thinking fast, he switched gears. Maybe I can use the chi conversion trick from holy light slash. Bingo! He temporarily converted his dragon chi into holy power, and the fire, as if finding a familiar home, merged with his chi on its own. Crisis averted. Now came the easy part. He activated the chi and the drop of golden dragon blood began to seep into his body. His physical strength spiked, his blood glowed gold, and a terrifying dragon aura swirled around him. 1 day later, Rennes had fully absorbed the dragon essence. He was a whole new being. His flesh was as hard as steel, his heart boomed like thunder, and his body radiated holy golden light. He was basically a human-dragon hybrid. Dragon Boat Festival book sale. Top up 100, get 500 VIP points. Top up now. Promotion, June 22nd to June 24th. Chapter 50 Unowned large-scale copper mines. The Rhineland area is booming again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It definitely lives up to its reputation as the top race in the Roland continent. The Golden Dragon bloodline is seriously powerful. Rennes opened his eyes and just had to sigh in amazement. Just a trace of Golden Dragon blood had transformed his body like crazy. His physical strength was 12 times greater. His internal organs were seriously buffed. 2, plus, he gained the talent of half-dragonization, kicking in the Golden Dragon blood to go half human, half dragon, and get even more Insane bloodline abilities, even his lifespan doubled, hitting 400 years, get this, when he hit the 10th rank and became a great Earth Knight, he got a life boost, but it only added 100 years, but this little bit of golden dragon blood straight up gives him 200, you can only imagine how nuts the golden dragon clan's bloodline really is. After getting used to his new body, Rennes came out of hiding. The women all rushed to him when they heard he was back. Besides being worried about him, they had to ask if he'd managed to become a Sky Knight, and Rennes just said he hadn't. That was just the excuse he'd made to go off and refine the golden dragon's essence in the first place. Becoming a Sky Knight ain't easy. Janice and the others didn't doubt it when they heard that. They comforted him right away, and that was that. Next up, Rennes went back to his usual life, playing with the kids, hanging out with his wife, checking in on the territory every so often. Life was super chill. 10 days later, Count Bereg, head of the Sika family, showed up. Rennes couldn't blow off a noble of the same rank. He dropped everything and went to meet him, in the reception room, after the usual greetings. Count Bereg, what brings you here? Rennes asked, getting right to the point. Count Rennes, I've got some good news, Bereg said, all smiles. Good news? Rennes narrowed his eyes. He didn't get excited. He got suspicious. He didn't buy that good stuff just fell in your lap. A few days ago, they found a huge copper mine outside the Warcraft Mountains. I want to team up with the Habs family to develop it. If it works out, the mine could bring in hundreds of thousands of gold coins a year for both of us. Bereg dropped the real reason he was there when he saw Rennes wasn't biting. Rennes suddenly got it. This guy wanted him to help him grab the mining rights, because of its location, straddling different countries and loaded with high-level monsters. The Monster Mountain Range wasn't part of any country or territory, so that big, valuable copper mine didn't legally belong to anyone. Anyone could go mine it. Count Bereg was planning to use force to grab the mine, and he wanted Rennes in on it because other big players were after it, too. That mine's in the Monster Mountain Range, crawling with monsters. Mining it will be a pain. I'm not really interested. Rennes politely turned him down. He wasn't hurting for cash. The sugar and beer businesses were making bank every day. Fighting over the mine just wasn't worth it. He'd rather plant more crops and have more kids. Bereg looked surprised. He thought Rennes would jump at the chance. It was a win-win. The Sika and Habs families teaming up meant at least an 80% shot at taking the mine, and Rennes was saying no to all that money. He didn't get it. Count Rennes, you sure you won't reconsider? Bereg asked again. Nope. Rennes shook his head. Bereg had to give it up when Rennes wouldn't budge. He chatted with Rennes for a bit, then he left with his guards. If he couldn't get Rennes, he'd have to try other, stronger counts. After Count Bereg left, several counts and viscounts showed up over the next few days. They were all after the copper mine. Word of the mine got out, and every big noble in the Rhine region wanted a piece. It was going to be a brawl to decide who got it. Rennes saw it coming. He shut the gates and refused visitors. He just wanted to kick back for a while and enjoy his golden goose and have more kids and get system rewards, as long as it didn't mess with him and the Habsburg family. He wasn't going to get involved in noble squabbles and resource grabs.